Farm Bureau spokesman is Iowa's leading agriculture news source and the largest circulation ag newspaper in Iowa. Available in print and online, the weekly publication is only available to Iowa Farm Bureau members. Did you know Farm Bureau members lobby government officials to create laws and regulations that benefit farms and rural communities? They do this by advocating for Farm Bureau policy. Local government decisions affect our daily work and living, impacting everything from road conditions to property taxes and building requirements. No one is better positioned to deal with these important issues than the County Farm Bureau. The County Farm Bureau helps ensure that the actions of local government benefit agriculture and rural communities in the country. O'Brien County Farm Bureau, proud to support the O'Brien County Fair.
Good morning and welcome to the 2022 O'Brien County Fair Sheep Show. We'll start off with our advanced land feeder project plans. Our first one to go in the ring will be Damian Dodge. He's got 5 sheep in this project with an average fair weight of 155 pounds and an average daily gain of 1.03 pounds per day. Our judge today is Mr. Eric Luchins of Burt, Iowa. We give him a round of applause. Okay, we're going to do a little quick interview here. What's your name? And what degree
It's online, so if you want to talk, go ahead. It's on.
They hear him?
Kind of.
Can you hear me? Hello, I'm live streaming today. This is Dudley McDowell. I'm on the Farm Bureau Board and the Fair Board, and we're starting the advanced lamb feeder pen project. The first pen we just seen now is Damien Dodge of Hartley. We have 5 pens this year. The advanced lamb feeder pen has been a project that's been going on for 30 years. It's 5 lambs, and we weigh them and price them in March, and you get a consistent price for all the pens regardless of where they got them or when they got them or who they got them from. This is Annika Negus of Paulina. Damien's pen averaged 155. Annika's averaged 146. The pens are priced, so we start with a beginning weight, and we use a consistent corn price. And then they send in their feed records to me every 2 weeks. And I use a consistent corn price from the Archery Elevator. This has been a unique year for sheep because early May, when we started this project, the fat lamb price was $220 or $230 or someplace in there. And the corresponding feeder lamb price was, I think, the highest it's ever been for this size of lambs in our 30 years. So it costs quite a bit of money, relatively speaking, to buy 5 lambs. And now the last month, the fat market has just about half of what it was. So these kids are kind of struggling, I'm sure, to break even on these lambs this year, but some years are different. Those are both nice set of lambs.
Austin's lambs range in weight from 136 to 165, with an average fair weight of 146.6 and an average daily gain of.
This pen is Austin Negus, a brother. They weigh 146.6, almost exact same weight. Most of these lambs are sheared early June, so you get a shorter weight. They'll grow better in the hot weather. And it used to be you wanted a number 1 fleece, what they call that much regrowth like these lambs have, but fleece and sheep are not worth much anymore, so that's not really a factor. But it is. You'll see a lot of lambs coming in the show ring that have no wool left on them. These all have about 6 weeks worth of lamb regrowth, wool regrowth.
Another good feeding set of lambs here. Looks like there's maybe a little more variability in weights and finishes here, but all in all, good feeding group of lambs. Also, no structural problems. Look like the kind of lambs you can just put on feed and let them go.
Our next exhibitor in the ring is Jake Tapper. His lambs range in weight from 107 to 127 pounds, with an average weight of 117 pounds, and average daily gain of 0.52 pounds per day.
This exhibitor is Jake Tapper from Granville, and his 5 lambs average 117.
Okay, what's your name? Jim Tapper. What grade are you going to be in this fall? Junior. Okay. How many years have you done the advanced feeder project? Second year. Okay. Did you raise these lambs or did you buy them? Did you get them at a sale barn or from private? Private. Very good.
Our judge today is Eric Lugens from Burt, Iowa. He's an Ashton native, and he has a sheep show business.
Maybe a little more show lamb type.
All we ask of him today is that he prices them for us. The whole system is based on point system. There's 25 points on the records that they send me, and there's 20 points on rate of gain. I'll stop talking while he's talking, I guess.
Brings the average down weight-wise. Maybe not quite as good of gaming type of lamb is what the first 3 pins were, but looks like they did good. They're all finished. All very structurally sound, very good, nice looking pin of lambs.
And our final pin is Luke Tapper. He's the only graduating senior we have in our sheep exhibitors this year. These are white-faced lambs.
Their weight is 121 pounds, ranging from 96 to 132, with an average daily gain of 0.62.
He said these are 121-pound lambs. Anyway, we have 25 points from record keeping, 20 points on rate of gain, 30 points on profitability, I think it is, and 25 points on economy of gain. And this whole system is just figures, and there's not much. It's all cut and dried how you do this.
Okay, what's your name? What grade are you in this fall? What grade are you going to be in this fall? What grade are you going to be in this fall?
Next fall, I'll be a freshman at CC.
Oh, okay. So you graduated this spring. All right, very good. Did you raise these lambs or did you buy them?
Same exact as the last one.
Okay. Also purchased. All right, very good. Can you tell me, are these Dorsets or these Polypays? What breed of sheep are these? Okay. Well, they look like Dorset crosses. I'm not sure if they're red Dorset or yellow Polypay. Yeah, really nice group of feeder lambs here. One wether kind of brings the average down. Wish he was a little bigger, this one in the middle. But as a whole, this is kind of lamb that the Packers are looking for. It looks like they did good for you. They finished well. Really nice group of lambs. Yeah.
So with these, I got the weights yesterday, and I got the feed records yesterday, and now we get a price, and I go home and plug it all in, add up the points, and hopefully by the end of tonight I know how they all place. But we're glad to have 5 pins. Last year we had 4, and
Now in the ring is our first class of first and only class of purchase commercial use.
now we're going to start the.
Olivia and Emily Lopez.
This is purchased U class. These are lambs that were raised by somebody else, bought, and raised by this family. So we have 2 lambs in this class. This is Olivia Lopez Joriga and Emily Lopez Joriga. From their markings, their lambs appear to be either a Hampshire or Hampshire cross with that wool on their black face like that. I started helping with the sheep show in about 1986 when my oldest son joined 4-H and raising sheep, and in 2002 I officially became a superintendent. And all the superintendents in those days have retired.
It was a nice period of last year. It was purchased. Commercial UM class. I think it started out with the longer face to women class. Just a nice confirmation. Lots of bone. Nice foot size. I like her front end. I love the way the neck sits in her shoulders. She's got adequate pin width. She carries out really nice with her pins. Just a good kind of UM that I think is gonna go home, and whether you want to raise club lambs or raise commercial sheep, she's just gonna be good, easy flesh, and new lamb that's gonna lay down and have lambs that are ready. Some place them just a little bit finer bone, finer muscle. This ewe's gonna be a little bit later maturing. I'm not gonna do anything against that. I think as a yearling, she's probably gonna be the pounds heavier than you. You give her the right luck, maybe you make up for those the liver she's lacking in the bone, the foot size of the muscle. I think also a very productive ewe. I just like to take it around and make it a little more attractive.
Winning the purchase commercial U class is Olivia Lopez. Reserve goes to Emily Lopez. Now on the ring is the black face commercial U.
Helping on the ring today is Doug Kumus from Germantown and Mark Dodge from Hartley. They're my other two superintendents, and they're doing a really wonderful job. We have a little outside help today. So we weighed lambs yesterday and made the catalog up last night for the sheep and the goats. We've taken over the goat business too. And this morning we had to deal with a couple of problems, and then we set up the show ring. And so things are going pretty well. This is the class of black-faced ewe lambs. 3 in the class with Courtney Decker, Peyton Decker, and Emma Vandenberg. Coming up is a class of speckled-faced ewe lambs and a class of white-faced ewe lambs. And then the champion of each of those 3 classes will go for an overall champion commercial ewe. The purchase ewes are not part of that class. So the judge, you see, is checking them for cover and muscling, width of loin. Now he's walking them so they can see how they step out. You get a length view of them, comparison-wise. Just an interesting comment about the Advanced Lamb Feeder Project. We started it 30 years ago, and it always was a point system. But sometimes you'd get maybe the top of that category would get the 20, and the next one would get 19, and didn't have a whole lot of differentiation. So when my youngest son graduated in 2004, they turned it over to me, and I took about 12 years worth of records and organized everything in top to bottom, and then assigned points to that. Like about 1.05 pounds a day is about the best rated game we've ever had, and that became 20 points. And then you work your way down to that. And I do that for all 4 of these point categories. So when I'm all said and done tonight, I can just look into the charts and come up with the points and add them up. This videotaping you're watching is an interesting history. We weren't doing anything like that. I didn't even think about it. And then in 2020, when COVID hit, the Farm Bureau Board wasn't able to have their annual meeting. So we decided, what are we going to do with that money? And this option came up to sponsor this videotaping. It's on year-round for everybody to watch. And
okay, this is an interesting class of commercial use here. I'm going to use the white lamb that I feel is just a little bit more structurally sound. I think the commercial use class, that's something that a lot of judges forget about. The market lamb class may be a different deal, but when we're judging commercial use, we have to really think about structure and how they walk. She's got adequate thickness. She's very attractive. Not as thick as you, but you also have to remember she's a little bit younger. The blue lamb hit me really hard coming in. I thought for sure she was going to be class winner. But we took her out and walked them. Just tends to get a little down her pasterns. She gets a little choppy in her rear legs when she moves. She's maybe just a little bit too thick for she, in my opinion. I'm sure another judge on another day would probably turn and flip them too. But that's just my opinion. Third place ULAM, also a really nice little ULAM here. She's by far the youngest, the greenest. I really like that she was well. She just gets out power today by the first 2 years in the class.
okay, first place in that class was Peyton Decker of Sheldon. Second place, Courtney Decker of Sheldon. And third place, Emma Vandenberg. This class is speckled face. So these have a white face mother and a black face father, or the other way around. So they have enough. This is Bryce Dodge and Aubrey Dodge, both from Hartley. These are siblings. We're continuing to keep our sheep show going. It's not as big as it used to be, but there's not as many 4-Hers as there used to be either. I graduated from Primgar way back in the 20th century, and between Primgar, Polina, and Sullivan, there was about 160 in that grade, 3 schools together. And now I noticed the combined South O'Brien School graduated 37, so that's a fourth as many, to show you how the numbers have dropped in that many years. And of course it affects how many 4-Hers you got too, like everything else. Here's the judge placing.
This class is speckled face since we're influencing lambs here. I'm going to use the ULAM black thickness tour. Good feeder type of like to see where these used to be a little straighter in their top line, but should be
That class was won by Aubrey Dodge, and second place to Bryce Dodge.
Now we'll have the white face commercial.
Now we have white face. White face sheep around here, they're probably Dorsets or Polypays or Rambouillet or something. They give them a totally white face. So these are 3 entries are Abby Stout, and 2 from Bill William Stout. They're all from Primgar. Abby's lamb in front was born the 28th of February, and the other 2 are the 9th and 10th of March. So the taller lambs have the advantage of being a little younger a bit. They're apparently bigger. You can
Well, producing lamb, second place lamb, just like to see her a little more pounds in. And third place lamb, she's actually the oldest lamb in the class, so just gets out close today.
see the third place lamb is exiting. Now they'll bring in the 2 black face and the 2 speckle face and have the overall champion commercial ewe lamb picked.
Will Stout, and reserve goes to Will Stout. Now we'll have the final drive for the champion commercial ewe from the blackface division, Peyton Decker and Whitney Decker. From the speckle-face division, Aubrey Dodge and Bryce Dodge. And from the whiteface division, Will Stout and Will Stout. Harold Sanders.
So closest to the camera are the 3 class champions, and behind them are the 3 reserve class champions. Not in the order the classes were shown, but you understand. This year our county fair went to vinyl banners more than trophies or plaques. So the banner for this champion is donated by Harold Stammer. So Harold and Sharon, who Sharon passed away earlier this summer, they were long-time sheep superintendents, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, supporters of this fair, and they have donated this prize for several years now in honor of their grandson, Chris Kumus, who died in a car accident several years ago.
Your grand champion commercial unit goes to Peyton Decker. The reserve grand champion Begin those awards sponsored by Harold Stammer and sponsoring banners for Achievement and Reserve Cheater Commercial Use and Memorials Grandson Chris Gomez. Appreciate this support. Now we'll have a class of Yearling Ewes. In this class we have 4 entries.
We keep this show moving, as you can see. This next class is a class of Yearling Ewes. We just started this a few years ago. And this class is for lambs that were here last year as ewe lambs. And since then, they've had babies this winter. And now they're coming back as what they call yearlings. So these lambs are about 18 months old. They've had lambs. And these are the 3 Dodge kids. First of all is Damien and Aubrey. And then Bryce. And then William Stout with the white-faced ewe. These are strictly commercial type ewes, you can see. But they've proven their worth to be, bred at about 7 months old and lambing last winter and then ready for another lambing. As our jobs of sheep superintendents, we evaluate our fare after the fact, so we know what we want to change for next year. And about every other year, normally we change judges. So you don't get used to somebody. And there's a few judges around. This is the first time we've had Eric Gluchitz as our judge. And then in the spring, we set up a date here in the fairgrounds. We weigh the lambs, and some of them, if they need to be retinal imaged to go to the state fair or another show, that gets done, not necessarily by us, and then we line up the shearing date in June for those that need help with that. Otherwise, they find their own shearing source. And then, of course, the main work is the fair work. There's always the prep work, getting the stalling cards done and signed where they're going to be in the barn. And then this is why we set the show ring up here and all the other little things that come up. In third place, he went with Damien Dodge, and he ended up with Aubrey Dodge.
I just don't think, even if you put a feed through her, they're usually going to have the thickness of the place you.
That pretty much ends the female part of our show.
Now
I've been on the Farm Bureau Board now totally about 30 years in my career, I guess. I started out when I got home from the Army, and I joined Farm Bureau, right? My folks always were members. And that summer, I went to a resolutions discussion meeting one night. In those days, we used to have the annual meeting, and we'd vote at the annual meeting in August, and then they'd have the annual meeting in Des Moines was be in December. So I went there and probably opened my mouth a little bit once in a while. And next morning, my neighbor comes up and says, "Do you want to be Farm Bureau secretary?" Well, we were just young married. I had nothing going on except Army Reserves. So I agreed to that, and I was Farm Bureau Board Secretary for 3 years. And in between times, I got elected to the Archer Elevator Board in 75, and in 76, I missed the elevator annual meeting because I was at Army summer camp. And while I wasn't there to defend myself, they made me elevator board secretary too. And I thought 2 of those secretary jobs was too much, so I quit being Farm Bureau secretary for a while.
She ought to be ready to go. Talked to the young lady for just a minute here, and she said it was a triplet that they pulled off, which is common practice, I guess. Looks like she did a good job, and it looks like she didn't miss too many feedings, because that was about as good of a looking model as you're going to find. So just sing much and give her the ribbon.
This is Aubrey Dodge from Hartley. This is a bottle lamb she raised. It's also our only feeder lamb project. The feeder lambs have to be less than 115 pounds. This weighs 105 pounds. We sometimes get more feeder lambs if we have underweight lambs, but this year the lambs were a little heavier to start with, and most of them did well enough to not be big enough to sell if they want to sell them. So bottle lamb, you get the lamb when it's just probably a day or two old, and you feed them a milk formula that you mix up and warm up a little bit so it's about body temperature most of the time if you feed it with a pop bottle and a nipple. And you feed it about probably 3 times a day most of the time. Before in the morning,
We got the bottle lamb back out here.
early afternoon or late afternoon, and then evening.
This is kind of the feeder lamb if they're small and weighed in, like I said in the last class.
This is Aubrey's first year in 4-H. But she's been a helper with her folks and her brothers, and she has showed discovering 4-H bottle lambs in past years.
Feeder lamb individuals is Aubrey Dodge. Daryl Hunt Shearing is donating banners to the Green Young Reserve Champion feeder lambs. We appreciate it.
Now we're ready to start the market lamb class. We have 4 classes of black-faced lambs. These lambs weigh from 116 to 124 pounds. This is Olivia Lopez Dworek-Rekas, Emma Vandenberg, Morgan Groders, and Emily Lopez Dworek-Rekas. I'm supposed to talk a little bit between times about things, so I was off the Farm Bureau Board for a few years, and then I got back on as a director when my elevator board kind of was winding down. And I did that for 2 years, and then said, "Can you want to be vice president?" So I agreed to that. And I had that for 1 year is all. That's kind of the person in the county that's in charge of the resolutions. And then I moved up to be president, and that worked fine for 1 year. And then the second year, my vice president wasn't able to continue. So I kind of did both jobs for my second year of presidency. And then because I didn't have a vice president, I had a third year president, which wasn't common in those days. But we had a vice president. And then I was able to move right on from that to the 3 years of a lot of people have as voting delegate. So you make a lot of really good friends in neighboring counties and even across the state when you go to those kind of things. The guy from Marshall County that I sat next to for 3 years, we kind of became pretty good friends. We see Mitch a couple times a year. And he was commenting that one year he planted his beans like we all do, and it did not rain until early August. So his beans germinated in early August. But, of course, that's far enough south, and he lucked out with a late freeze. And he said he had a decent bean crop in the end, even though they really didn't get germinated until in August. Farnborough has switched things up. They used to have mid-year conference in early June, and sometimes it was a real struggle to get your crop in and go to Des Moines for a couple of days. And now they've changed the timetable. They do that kind of policy discussion and surfacing issues in the spring, and then the delegates will have we got the resolutions passed coming up here in the annual meeting in August, and then the delegates meet before harvest in Des Moines and set policy for the state, and then so they have more time to get the word out to all the counties before the legislature starts in January. They still have the annual meeting in December. It's just a day shorter, and they elect the state president and vice president and district directors and that staff and have meetings. It's really I've been there a few times. It's really an interesting meeting. Judge is starting to place them now. He's placed the first class of black-faced market lambs.
Nice little light set of lambs here. Looks like a pretty uniform weight, like 116 to 120. I'm going to go ahead.
As you can see, he's starting this class with Morgan Groders. That lamb happens to be a ewe lamb. A lot of market lambs are wethers, but they don't have to be. This one is a ewe lamb.
Good in her hip. She's a little raw in her loin. I think we give this lamb about 3 days. I think that's going to fill in. I think she's maybe just a little immature. But I'm going to go ahead and use the ewe lamb over the wether. The wether to me is just a little bit lower than his chest floor. I'd like to clean him up in that front 1/3. I'd like to give him a little more in his loin. Handling over that loin, the ewe lamb is just a little bit wider. I think in another 30 days there won't be any comparison. That ewe lamb's going to be in way better shape. That weather as well, when I get him out on the walk, he likes to walk under and stuff a little bit. Not really detrimental to a market lamb, but I still like to see him get out and move. So between his chest floor and the way he moves, that's why he's in second. The next little blue eagle lamb here in third, also very thick, lots of muscle on him.
Second in that class went to Emma Vandenberg.
That weather's best day is long down the road. I think you take that weather to Lake County Fair, and I think he's going to do good for you. He's just not very good. That's a big frame sheep. She's probably going to have to carry 145 to 150 pounds to be finished. I think he's going to look really good at that weight.
Third went to Emily Lopez Goragui, and fourth place to Olivia Lopez Goragui.
Morgan Reuters, reserved at Vanderwerf. Now rated Class 2 market land individuals in this class: Peyton Decker, Carson Dow, Abby Eagle, and 2 entries from Corky Decker.
We have a good system here to bring lambs in and out. You see we don't have much delay between classes. There is one scratch in this class, so there'll be 4 lambs. Peyton Decker, Abby Ebel, Courtney Decker, and Courtney Decker. So she has a substitute showman for the second lamb. Besides sponsoring this at the fair, they have a booth in our commercial building. We have a little game for the kids to play and passing out any information, the membership or insurance that people want. And Wednesday night during the fair, we host free watermelon from 5 till 7 or till it's out up by the food stand area. So we get some watermelons and get them cooled, and the directors will cut them up and pass them out to anybody welcome to come Wednesday evenings. The judge is checking the finish and the width of loin, width of the leg, if you see him by the next one probably, the length of the loin, length of the leg. It appears like the judge is having a tough time deciding what he's doing with this class. You can see Doug's writing down the tag numbers of the first and second place lambs, so we make sure we get the right ones back in for the championship class later on. Helping us announce today is Eric Kumus, a graduate of our program here, and he's now the FFA instructor at Sioux Center, now alumni of the Bryan County Fair. So he's doing a good job of passing out our ribbons. Is our fair queen. I haven't got my sheet. It's a Ike or Courtney Ike, maybe. I'm sorry, I don't have that first name with me. I didn't come prepared enough.
Mainly on the structure and the frame size. I'm going to go ahead and use the nice little another.
That last class they weighed from 130 to 134, so they're pretty close. The next class is also blackface. Should be 3 of them.
Class champion, class 2 market lands, goes to Peyton Decker. Reserve
Weighing 142, 150, and 152.
Land individuals. These lambs range in weights from 142 to 152 pounds. In this class, Adriana Eagle, Landon Eagle, and Morgan Broders.
In this class is Adriana Ebel, Landon Ebel, a different family, and Morgan Groders. A year ago, Farm Bureau sponsored a used tire discard program. We got a grant from the state. We had about 900 used car and light wagon tires in this show barn, and we got a semi in and another pickup. And one day we loaded out nearly 900 tires to get them recycled. The annual meeting for the Farm Bureau this year will be at August 9th in the evening at the Primgar Community Building with a meal and a meeting to follow. And our speaker is going to be...
We're going to go ahead and start out the same weight class with the pound standing slam class.
I'll finish that.
He's probably got a lot on the fat side. But I get my hands on him. He really isn't. He's about right in condition, maybe just to take on the fat side, but more than adequate. Just another lamb that really puts a lot of the right pieces together for me. Nice form, foot size, very well presented. Adequate thickness, more than adequate thickness. Really thick on his top, good growing edge. Place lamb, also another lamb for how heavy he is, he carries himself real well. I just like to put a little more structure in there and gets a little light moving for me. More than that, I put muscle. Any else is just a little heavy to the front end. Then round out the class, we got another good feeding leather. Should make us get some money somewhere down the line.
Congratulations, your Class 3 champion Mark Wynn goes to Oregon Motors, reserved to Adrian Eagle. Now at 1 inch for Class 4, Adrian Eagle has one lamb weighing 175 pounds. After this class, we have the weight-based influence lambs, and then your champion, Mark Wynn.
I got sidetracked there. I didn't catch the placings in that class. I'm sorry. We have 2 in the next class. No, we have 1. 1 got scratched. We have 1 lamb. This is a 175-pound lamb. And that lamb grew pretty well. And it's a little big for today's standards. This is Adriana Ebel from Sullivan. This lamb really started a little too big in May, so it didn't have much chance to keep the size down.
Class, big boy division here, 174-pound lamb. Also, the big lamb holds himself together real well. Structurally sound, a little heavy to his front end, goes along with the weight. A lot of product in this lamb. This lamb is a little over conditioned, but you know, good heavyweight lamb. Black-faced market lambs.
Winning Class 4 market lamb individuals, Adrian Eagle. Now I have the weight-based influence market lambs. These lambs range in weight from 142 to 150 pounds. In this class, Adrian.
A few years ago, we started what they call a white face influence lamb class. A lot of fairs do this. It gives a little better chance, because most market lambs are either black face. So these lambs are, for the most part, are crossbreds. You can see they have speckled face, which they probably have a white-faced mother, which are better, generally speaking, better mothers than the black faces are, and they have a black-faced father, ram. So this class are Aubrey Dodge, who's 4th place with the glasses on, and 4 of the Ebel kids from Sullivan: Avery, Abby, Landon, and Grace. These lambs happen to weigh 142 to 150, so it's a nice even group of lambs. Looks like a tough class to judge. There's probably a lot of them are probably half brothers. They're going to look alike. I was asked to share a little bit about my 4-H experiences because I grew up way back in the 20th century. There was a lot more kids around. I was a center farmer. We had 2 clubs, the junior center farmers and the senior center farmers, because we had so many kids. And for the most part, the boys showed livestock, and the girls had their clothing, food and nutrition, and if they wanted to show livestock, they had to also join what they call a boys' club. So it's kind of they thankfully have made things a lot more sensible since then. But we showed beef cattle and hogs, and once in a while you'd have a non-livestock project like leadership or something when I got older. But we had all three beef barns full of beef cattle in those days. Our clubs had almost entirely the southeast barn full of calves just from our club alone. I never had sheep, but I helped my 2 cousins show sheep sometimes when I got older, and they had extra lambs like this show. Because she said, "What's your favorite 4-H experience?" Well, I love livestock judging. Those days they have judging workouts around the county before the fair. So you'd go to somebody's house that might have had a bunch of sheep, and you'd have 2 or 3 classes of sheep to judge, or you go someplace with hogs, and they'd have 2 or 3 classes of hogs to practice judging on, or even dairy. But with biosecurity concerns anymore, they haven't been able to do that for years. But I'd always judge at the county fair contest, and I got 3 or 4 years I got picked to go to the state fair judging contest when they had that with the state fair. I think they do that at a different place and a different time nowadays. And we used to go to judge dairy at the Black and White show at Spencer too. I love judging dairy. So our 4 kids were in 4-H, and they showed sheep and hogs and a lot more non-livestock projects. And all of them got to give a presentation at the state fair. And they had a lot of non-livestock projects that go. So we went to the state fair almost every year. It's kind of special to see the project. You're very familiar with it, but when you see it at the state fair, well, all the other ones, it's kind of a special occasion. Probably my favorite 4-H experience was getting in high school, and I was picked to be on the county council. In those days, we had a county convention, and I'm writing down the results here. I'll finish this story when we get done talking.
I kind of went, if there was a word for the most uniform class of lambs, this class would get it. There really isn't much difference in them. So I kind of had to go back to my old judging team days, and first of all, we got to look at structure. Well, there's really no structural problems. So then we got to evaluate thickness and fat cover. And so the lamb witness class, to me, he just puts all the right pieces together. He's structurally sound. He's adequately finished. He's got adequate muscle, probably the most muscle of any lamb out there. So I'm going to go ahead and use him first in the class. The second place lamb probably slopes off just a little bit in his rump, but it's real close. Place in between the 2 of them. The third place lamb gets a little heavy in the front end. All our other right pieces for me. The fourth place lamb is probably it's hard to evaluate this lamb with the full on, but I would say through the back and the loin, probably the narrowest. And then the the fourth place lamb just gets a little swayed in his back, and I'd like to see him have a little more roll.
Finish my story. Well, anyway, this convention you had to run for county council, and they picked 4 boys and 4 girls a year, I think, and then you had the 2-year terms. You'd have a little overlap from the last group or the next group, and I got elected one year when I was in high school, and the next year was a girl named Carol Clover got elected. So we knew each other, and we even went to 4-H County annual conference together, but not really. But anyway, down the road at a dance, we started dancing, and then we went to each other's proms. And that year was her final year in 4-H, and she had 2 Angus heifers, and I offered to fluff their tails out and help her groom them because she had no clue what she was doing, really. And I wrote up a story about our 4-H experience, and I got it published on the back page of our Iowa magazine last summer, and I made $100 for it. And so 4-H is a special part of our lives 55 years ago. And it's kind of a funny because we got our headstones this summer, and so you put your names on them, and then you can put something on the side. And I put a John Deere tractor, and my wife put some flowers. And one morning I woke up and I said, 4-H is such a big part of our lives. We put the 4-H emblem on the top center of our headstone, so it'll be there forever because this is where it all started. This is the class overall champion market lamb. So these are the 5 class winners, and what he's working on right now. Unfortunately, they aren't in the right order. For the middle lamb was class number 1. And the one he's working on right now is the white-faced influence lamb. We have a top-notch lamb show for its size. You can see a lot of really good lambs out here, and it seems like it's this way every year. The exhibitors come and go, but there's always Here comes my replacements, maybe. Here come my replacements.
Oh, no, we're just going to do a quick little...
Phyllis and Danny are here. They're going to...
Her ring as queen today. And let's see who's the 2022 ring
They have the live stream now? Is it a live stream?
At the White stage.
Okay, good.
We ended up getting all the Wi-Fi in here.
Okay, great.
Okay, as we round off the Market Lamb Show here, first of all, I'd like to thank Dudley and Mark and the staff for inviting me to judge here today. I used to do quite a bit of judging when I was younger. I haven't done community for a while. It's really exciting for these guys to ask me to come and join the sheet today. I always enjoy working with kids. I always enjoy evaluating livestock. So first of all, let's give all these kids a good round of applause. Then I guess when I judge a show, we get in here to the championship drive. I like to give a little spiel about how great the 4-H FFA program is. I go all over the country and go to sales and shows all over. I don't maybe travel as much as I used to, but I think in Iowa we have the best livestock in the country, bar none. And I really like the showdown deal that they've come up with. Sometimes I think Iowa State Fair gets a little overrated, and this showdown deal that they got with the champion from every county is going to compete against each other in each district, and they're going to go on and do an overall for the state. If you're not familiar with it, I think it's a really good deal. So way to get a little more mileage out of these lambs without all the hoopla of the Iowa State Fair and the champions. So, in case you didn't know, the champion market lamb, the champion commercial, we're going to the Blue Chips in Spencer in, what is it, 2 weeks, and compete against all the other counties in Northwest Iowa. So I think that's a really good deal. I just wanted to make mention of that. The fact that the 4-H and FFA programs, I grew up showing, I showed cattle, I showed sheep. I never really showed hogs till I had my own kids, but I do that now. And, you know, it's all good. I think a person needs to think about the big picture, and it's a competition. You know, there's a lot to be learned, there's a lot of friendships to be made, and I encourage everyone to get involved, whether it be just at your county level. I know there's a lot of kids in this county that probably never going to show anywhere else, but get out in that room and talk to everybody, make some friends. These are lifelong acquaintances that you get down someday you decide you want to go to college or you're going to be looking for a job. These are the people that are going to help you out. You know, your football player team, your team players, your basketball team players, more than likely they're going to go down the road and they're not going to be involved in agriculture. And if you are, if you have any plan to be involved in agriculture, crop production or livestock production, these people that are out ensuring, these are going to be the people that you need to know when it comes down to adulthood and connections that are going to get you ahead in life. So I was a wrestler in high school, and I think sports have their place. I think showing livestock is every bit as important when it comes to your future. Chances are you're probably not going to be a professional football or basketball player, but more than likely every kid in this ring is somehow going to be doing a job in some type of agriculture, related to agriculture. So to me, that's kind of what's important. That's what I really like about this. I guess with that being said, I taught these lambs in the class. I think I told you what I like about them, what I didn't like about them. There's one individual out here that stands out. I think he's got some pretty good days ahead of him. I think he's going to be really competitive in the Cake and Spencer. It gets down to the reserve. It's closer. But I got 2 lambs in mind. I think I'm going to go ahead and shake the hand of my champion. And we're going to bring in the second place. I'm going to evaluate that lamb, and we're going to pick my reserve.
Grand champion market land goes to Peyton Decker. Reserve champion market land goes to Courtney Decker. Again, those awards presented by Trimers Insurance Department, sponsoring our bands for champion and reserve champion market land.
So champion market lamb was Peyton Decker. Reserve champion market lamb was Courtney Decker. Next.
Could we just do a little bloke here now with Danny?
Sure.
Is that okay? If we can, okay. I can just talk. Today we welcome Danny Rader to our live stream. Danny is the Farm Bureau agent in Primgar office. Danny, along with Denise Steffen and Judy Heidish, provide a number of Farm Bureau services to our members. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how long you've been with Farm Bureau?
Yeah, thanks, Phyllis. I'm originally from Mandan, North Dakota. I did grow up on a farm. I'm showing livestock, so pretty excited to be here taking the county fair along with the 4-H'ers. And my husband and I farm outside of Sutherland, Iowa, have hogs, have commercial cattle operation, and been with Farm Bureau. It'll be my 6th year here this fall, and I took over the agent position just this year, starting January 1. Worked with Denise for 5 years prior to that, and we offer everything from insurance to investments and a little bit of everything in between. Yep, like you said, we're the office here in Primgar.
And if somebody's interested in Farm Bureau insurance or any of the other financial services, what should they do?
You can reach us a number of different ways. We've got our office phone, 957-2535, but we're on Facebook, we're online. Whatever's the easiest mode of communication for people, we're happy to communicate that way. I've got a number of people that text, email, had some even FaceTime me. Just kind of depends on what people can do, and everybody's busy, so we're happy to make appointments after hours as well to accommodate those schedules. And like I said, whatever's easiest for people as far as time and mode of communication, we're happy to do that.
Well, thank you very much, Danny. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Right now in the show ring is they're awarding the Rate to Gain monetary funds. We get money donated from the First Co-op of Polina and other locations, and we split it up in the top Rate to Gain. For those that want to, you have to weigh your lambs in May to be eligible for the Rate to Gain at the fair. Most of them do, but not everybody. So I don't know if I brought those figures with me, but the evil kids from Southern did really well on this. This is Aubrey Dodge, got 5th place. And Bryce Dodge got 6th place. Man. Bryce Dodge had excellent pen of lamb for growth. 4 of them were excess of a pound a day. We have one more to give out to Austin Negus, and we'll get that to him later. But this is an important part of our show, is the Rate to Gain. This is how you grow them up and get money out of them and save feed. Now we're ready to start the showmanship. We start with the senior showmanship. Senior showmanships just completed their 10th, 11th, or 12th years in high school. And they have to show their own lamb. Our only senior didn't have a lead lamb, so coming in is Bryce Dodge, Courtney Decker, Morgan Groders, and Grace Evil, I think it is.
Cooperatives Farmers Elevator, Hartley, and other sites is presenting banners to the top junior, intermediate, and senior show person. We thank you for your support.
Every judge does a little differently. That's why we change judges every couple of years at the most. But they'll probably ask them some questions and watch. They've no doubt been watching them show all day long, too. See, the judge is handling the lambs to see how they respond, how the person holds them. It's not so much, they aren't judging the lamb now, they're judging the exhibitor and how well they do things.
Okay, we're going to do a little cool thing if we can a minute.
You want this back?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wonderful.
It's a great day for the fair.
Pardon me?
It's great outside.
Today we welcome our new regional manager, Kayla Dietz. As many of you know, that Mark Bonner served our county for many years, and he has retired, and now Kayla has taken his spot. Kayla's not new to Farm Bureau. Are you, Kayla? So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I grew up in Northeast Iowa on a dairy farm, and I went to Iowa State University, and when I graduated from there, I moved out here, and I'm engaged to a farmer in Plymouth County. I live in Remsen, and we farm there, and I'm happy to be here with Farm Bureau.
And how did you become interested in Farm Bureau?
I've known Farm Bureau my whole life. My dad and grandpa were both presidents of our county Farm Bureau back home, and it's just something that's always been around, and I wanted to be a part of that tradition and bring it for my kids in the future.
So can you tell us some of your duties as a regional manager?
As a regional manager, I basically oversee what's going on. So, for example, the county fair, we have our booth this year. We're serving watermelon on Wednesday night. I oversee that and make sure things run smoothly, and we have volunteers set up.
And which counties do you serve?
I serve Plymouth, Sioux, Lyon, Osceola, O'Brien, and Dickinson counties.
Okay, and why would you encourage someone to become a Farm Bureau member?
I encourage anybody to become a Farm Bureau member because we're here to support agriculture, and agriculture is the betterment of the country, and this is what we do to support our youth, and this is how we can proceed and grow our future that way. So Farm Bureau is there to support all of that as they do it. So.
And what's impressed you the most about O'Brien County?
O'Brien County, well, first off, their fairgrounds is amazing. The support these kids have is just awesome. I see volunteers everywhere here working their butts off, making sure everything goes smoothly, and the pride that O'Brien County has with their 4-H fair is just off the charts. It's awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Kayla.
Thank you.
Is that all?
That's all. Yeah, we've got it right here.
I'll follow you in a second. You picking them right?
I couldn't, well, yeah, you did well.
Said, are you picking them right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't do it. I don't handle them, and I don't get in the middle of it. You can see the judges having them move, so he watches how they set up their lamb, where they want all 4 legs on the corners. And most kids at this stage, they'll push their thigh up against the lamb to hold him from coming ahead. Some places you'll even see the kids that lift their head off the ground. We really discourage that around here. We don't allow anybody to do that kind of stuff. So. At first we had Emma, and now we have Emily. And now we have Aubrey. And our fourth junior is Abby Lebo. So we have 4 girls here with names starting with a vowel. This is the future of our sheep show with these young kids. Needless to say, it takes some work over the summer with these kids and their projects. You get them broke to lead, but then you got to hold them like this, to walk them without the benefit of a halter and hold them like this. You know, these little girls like this, I don't know what they would weigh, but the lambs weigh 140, 50 pounds. You know, one gets away pretty much a while, but you can see today we've had really good luck. We haven't had any that had to chase down and re-catch. So. Immediately following this show, we have the goat show here. We're going to have these Discovering 4-H bottle lambs, and then we'll have the goat show, and then we'll have a dairy show. But that's pretty small this year. So he's going to make his selection here now of the champion junior showman.
Juniors today, I went through and talked to every kid and gave them a little bit of a pointer, a few things maybe work on. I'm going to go ahead and use the young lady with the white letter on the end for first. For second, I guess it gets a little bit closer. Young lady with the blue lamb. When she gets that lamb stuck and lamb wants to cooperate, she does a good job of showing her. The problem is, comes in when the lamb doesn't want to cooperate, she gets pretty nervous and gets maybe a little bit worked up, doesn't really know for sure how to work with it. And, that's just something there you got to have to work with at home. May just be the lamb of the day. But, a good showman, like I say, when she gets that lamb stuck and the lamb cooperates, she gets what they get. As far as we're going to use the young lady on my lap with the dark shirt on. She just, I had a little conversation with her about keeping her hand off the lamb's back. That's just one of those things. It's, it's just a comfort thing. But we want to make sure we keep her hands off. If we got to push her top down a little bit or something, we want to just go ahead and do that, and then get our hand back on the head or wherever else. But just make sure we aren't touching them on the back while we're showing them. And then the other young lady, she just needs to do a little bit better job of making sure that head is up and not forward and the nose is straight. But does a good job. She's learning. I think she's going to improve and do a better job next year.
Champion junior showman goes down the main river. Reserves Anna Lopez. And third to Aubrey Dodge. And now we'll have overall showmanship. The third to
The last class of the sheep show is the overall champion showman.
The seniors, Courtney Decker, and the Lynette Soderman family, a member of Keith Rush, are presenting the traveling showmanship plaque for the top overall.
This will just be a traveling plaque donated by Lynette Soden and her family to the overall showman. No, the rest we don't place the second or third here. Farm bill dues remain at $45 a year. They're tax deductible for farmers. You get a spokesman every week. You get to free advertising for about 48 of those issues. The main thing I think about the value of 4-H, of Farm Bureau, is we have a legislative voice, especially in Des Moines, and nationwide also, but we go through this policy of determining issues and voting on them. With every member, farmer member can vote if he wants, and then the voting delegates, the county board determines the results, sets policy, and our voting delegate goes to Des Moines and votes on things. So we set policy in a good democratic way, and then we have workers in Des Moines, that our legislature every day to get our points across, and then when needed, the local people will add their input through emails or phone calls or occasional visit to get, and we have a pretty successful policy to get, like the ethanol infrastructure bill that passed last year, and every year there's different things, but it's a good process. We're really fortunate this year to have almost ideal weather. It's cloudy and not hot at all. We remember back maybe 8 or 10 years ago, we had an older judge with a good one, but he was in his 70s, and it was two of the hottest fair days I can remember for 2 years in a row for our sheep show. And he just got done with that, wringing wet. But now he's not around here anymore, and we haven't got him back. But the last couple of weeks have been pretty warm in this country, and some of the other shows have had to put up with hotter weather. But this is ideal for us. Ooh, that's not good. In fact, the judge is getting ready to make his selection.
Looks like we got a little sibling rivalry going on out here. I enjoy the intensity. This is kind of fun. This is kind of neat. I always wish we would have done this in my county. The champion overall, showman, especially when we got family involved. I assume we got like a spring showman contest at the end of the fair, which is also kind of neat. I got to go judge one of them in Emmett County here on Friday, which I think is always a lot of fun to get to show other species and stuff. Yeah, we got 3 really good showmen out here. The junior, very good showman. She needs some more experience. That lamb's maybe just a little bit big for her. You know, she just has trouble getting her big leg set. Just keep practicing. You're going to get there and you got all the right ideas. So it comes down to the intermediate and the senior today. And I tripped him up there a little bit at the end. They had him switch places and go down to the end. And I don't know if there's really a right or a wrong way to do it. I'm going to say this. The young lady I'm going to use to win did not do it right, in my opinion, but she did it probably smooth and looked okay. I guess if I'm showing and the judge asks me to do a down spot or whatever, I usually just push him back. Whatever's going to get him there quickest, I usually just push him backwards, flip out, pull down the line. The young lady went around the front, which is probably the wrongest way to do it, but she did it smooth, and and then the senior, she did a good job where she just she had a little more room though, so she just looked around and made a loop and pulled in there. I'm going to go ahead and use the intermediate. I just really enjoy her intensity. When I said the rivalry, she said, yeah, I'm going to win. I appreciate that. That's confidence that I'm looking for. The senior she just did a good job too. Either one on the driver's sheet for me anyway. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Your champion overall champion was Peyton Decker. Congratulations, that concludes the 2022 Oregon County Fair Sheep Show. Sheep exhibitors, you can get your award packets from the announcer stand at this time. Now, Clover kids, you're going to start bringing your sheep down into the ring. Well, down to the show ring at this time.
You going to keep it going with this to the little lambs and stuff? I'll talk. What you see now is one of the funnest parts of the whole fair. These kids are discovering 4-H, which means they're kindergarten, first, second, or third grade, not old enough to be in 4-H. But they get these bottle lambs from one source or another and tame them down and feed them, of course, and bring them to the fair. Some of them stay for the whole time. Some of them will go home right away again today. Depends. But you can see from here there's quite a variety of size of the lambs and colors of the lambs and size of the kids.
Welcome to the Clover Kids Lamb and Goat Show. We'll be going around asking each kid their name, the name of their sheep, and what they eat. So what's your name?
Emmett.
What's your sheep's name?
Hen.
What does your sheep get fed?
Grain pellets and hay.
Good. What are you most excited for this fair?
We don't know.
What's your name?
Hayden.
What's your sheep's name, Hayden?
Rapunzel.
What does your sheep eat? What are you most excited for about fair this year? Hi, what's your name? Kim, what's your sheep's name? What does Skit eat at night? Corn and hay. What are you most excited for this year about fair? Hey, what is your name? Levi. What is your sheep's name? What does he eat?
Corn and hay.
What are you most excited for this fair?
Showing my cat.
What is your name?
Leo.
Leo, what's your name? Your lamb's name.
Chaz.
What does Chaz eat?
Hay and pellets.
What are you most excited for this fair?
Showing my cat.
What's your name?
Aubrey.
Aubrey, what's your sheep's name? What does Belle eat?
Corn and USA.
So what are you most excited for this fair?
Probably watching all the shows.
What is your name?
Carly.
Carly, what's your sheep's name?
Button.
What does Buttons eat?
Corn and grass.
What are you most excited for this fair?
Showing my cat.
Oh, your sheep has a cute little bow. What are you most excited for this fair?
Showing my lamb.
What is your name?
Annabella.
What's your sheep's name?
Cotton ball.
What does Cotton Bowl eat?
Corn, hay, and pellets.
Okay, I don't know if everybody can see this bow, but it's actually adorable. Hi, what's your name?
Morgan.
Morgan, what's your sheep's name?
Vanilla.
What does Vanilla eat?
Corn and hay.
What are you most excited for this fair?
Showing her.
Hi, what's your name? Joseph, what's your sheep's name?
Snowball.
What does Snowball eat?
Water. Corn.
What are you most excited for this fair?
Showing you.
Hi, what's your name? Milo, what's your sheep's name? Caramel. What does Caramel eat? What are you most excited for this year? Showing your cat? We'd like to say thank you to all the Clover kids that came out and showed their lambs this year, their lamb and goats. And we are excited to see what your projects are next year. Thank you.
The interviewing the kids was Olivia Groders, who's a 4-H alum, and she is the Extension Summer Aide in Bryan County this year. So we have 10 little kids with 10 lambs here, and there's no competition. Everybody gets a little participation ribbon, and the experience of raising a lamb and coming to the fair, and we hope they all come back every year as long as they can. Now we're switching over to have our goat show. They said the goat show is probably the biggest overall show at the Iowa State Fair.
Okay, we'll now enter the
Here it's
goat show.
It's not. It's growing. A few years ago, we had 8 total goats. This year, we think we have about 35. And we're thankful for Max and Kim Rohr's family, who donate some of the plaques, some of the banners to this, and to Danny Rader, who you just heard interviewed a while ago. She contributes funding towards the Showmanship. As you can see from here, the goats are showed with a special chain halter under their chin, but they're shorter. We have got great support from Denhart Dog Industries, or Southjoy in Hospers, that makes this an excellent quality goat pen, with vertical sidings. They don't jump out of it. And we've got a few when we started, a few more last year, and a few more this year. And they give us a real break on it, and it helps us keep our fair going and house these lambs in a safe manner. The goats are going to, oops, actually lost that one halter. You see that? The goats are going to do it a little different. They start with the market lambs, market goats. And this is the class of 32 to 43 pounders. I don't know whether a lot of you eat goat. I can't say I have, but the best source of buying or selling goats around here is the Sioux Falls Regional Livestock, which is just south of Sioux Falls. But anyway, as an example, last Wednesday at Sioux Falls, goats were bringing, and goats bring better price when they're a little smaller. They had some 69 pounders at $205, but they had some 50 pounders at about $260 to $265. So it varies a little bit, I'm sure, by the quality of lambs. But so you look at, and then the same thing when the goat market, the lamb market has just tanked the last 6 weeks. And example, a lot of lambs last Wednesday we're selling for about $1.15 to $1.20 a pound. So this can be half as much money per pound as these goats are. The goat market is a real ethnic driven market. So our judge is making his first placings on the lightweight goats.
I'm going to use the most show appearing goat in the class, adequate thickness, adequate structure, just a nice little goat here to go ahead and start off the class. Second goat, I just like to clean him up and make him a little square through his top, make him a little, just keep a little more condition on, a little more natural thickness, and the goat to round out the class. Just needs a little more time. Just needs more thickness and more days on feed.
Class 1 where we go, champion goat goes to Lilia Lopez, reserved to Emily Lopez. Now we'll have Class 2 market goats, ranging in weight from 60.
First place was Olivia Lopez Barraquí. Second place, Emily Lopez Barraquí. And third place to Damian Dodge. Now this is a class of intermediate lambs or goats. Their weight is 61 to 67. 5 head. They're pretty close in size. I'm no goat expert, but the second and the fourth ones are boer goats, B-O-E-R. And the other ones, I should know more than I don't. So, so if you're watching this live, tonight there's a flag burning ceremony to get rid of the damaged flags at 5 o'clock on the horse arena. And at 5:30 they're having a dedication ceremony of a bench in honor of Richard Evenson, who is a long-time security person here, Archer area resident. And then this evening is the Bill Raleigh Talent Show and the crowning of the new king and queen. Oh, we also in the Egg Olympics. We'll follow the dairy show that comes after this. It's something they used to have. It's kind of a fun little activity, and they started up again. And one other thing, briefly, this evening between the Bill Riley Talent Show and the Fair King and Queen coronation is a county-wide value-added ag award to somebody or some organization.
We have a really big bone, thick muscle goat to go ahead and run the class with here. Adequate length body, good through his front 1/3. Just a big, nice little goat here. We're going to start out with the class with the goat in second place, kind of a different type of goat, a little bigger frame, maybe not quite as thick. Good goat in his own right. We got that little pair here in the middle here, not much difference in them. Just like thinking about maybe put a little more going underneath and move them up any further in the class today. Round out the class with
Leaving the short ring right now is Mackenzie Meyer, who has graduated. This is her last year of showing livestock at the county fair. The placing in that class was Tyler Stammer, Kirsten Sandy, Mackenzie Meyer, Braden Meyer, and Aubrey Dodge. This is a heavyweight class of market goats. The weights 72, 72, and 84.
This class of market goats, we'll have the grand champion market goat draft. So class champions from class 1 and class 2, you're on deck.
This class is Kirsten Sandy and 2 from Mackenzie Meyer.
All right, we got a nice presented goat to go ahead and win this class. Puts a lot of the right things together. Adequate thickness, very nice shoring presence, good front end. I love that groove down its top. Just a good goat to go ahead and start the class out with. The second pair gets a little bit closer to me. I think the second place goat is a little bit trimmer, maybe a little bit more structurally correct. Third place goat, maybe like to clean him up in the chest board and maybe put his legs underneath him a little better.
Class champion, class 3 marking goes to Kirsten Sandy, reserved to Mackenzie Meyer. Now we'll have our grand champion.
Passing out our awards this year is Kaylee Eink, our fair queen from last year, who will get replaced tonight. And I asked her where her partners in crime were, the last year's king and princess, and she said they're up working the rabbit show, which is going on the north and the south building right now. So we have a class now. Champion Market Goat.
Let's thank them for their appreciation for a round of applause.
3 head. And the back of it you see is the 3 runners up to those 3 classes. As you can see here, and I think at the State Fair also, the color pattern is very similar on all 6 of these lambs. Boar goats are quite popular, I guess, in the meat goat industry. I have never raised goats, and I don't know anything about what's going on out here, so.
Not real big on numbers, a little pretty deep in quality here in the goat show. We got a nice representation of the boar goat industry here, out for the championship drive. I guess I'm not a big goat guy. I'm not going to make a big speech or anything. I guess I'll just go ahead and pick a champion reserve. We'll go ahead and move on to the breeding show.
Champion marking goat goes to Tyler Stanner. Reserve champion marking goat goes to Kirsten Sandy. Now we're going to have our breeding does. These breeding does were born from November 1st, 2021 to December 31st of 2021. 3 entries in the class: Aubrey Dodge, Bryce Dodge, and Mackenzie Meyer.
Announcing for us today.
the spring class of breeding does here. We got a little bit more age variation. I think about February through mid-March. I'm going to go ahead and use the doe that just puts the right amount of pieces together with for me. Very nicely presented doe here. She's got enough bone on her. Ties together real good in the front 1/3. Adequate thickness. Just overall good profile and nice looking doe. Go on to the second place doe. There ain't really a whole lot of difference in these two. I believe this was the youngest one in the class. I think if she had a little more age on her, she'd give it a real good push. That first place doe. They're maybe real similar. I think she just gives up a little bit in size and overall productivity today. We're going to go with third. I just maybe like to thicken her up a little bit, smoothen her up. Another nice doe that's gonna go home and work for her. I just like to give her a little better showroom presence, make her maybe a little better on her feet and legs. Maybe get it down here towards the other end of the class. Goats are just lacking in overall thickness. Maybe a few structural problems we'd like to straighten out. But overall, nice class of breeding does.
Champion reserve of Class 2 breeding does goes to Michaela Meyer. Now I have the yearling meat goat breeding does.
The top two places in that class both went to Michaela Meyer.
Aubrey Dodge and Michaela Meyer.
Now this is a yearling meat goat class. So these goats are roughly a year and a half old on the average. Here's something I didn't mention when we had the advanced lamb feeders back when we started this show. And it's something that anybody who's in production agriculture maybe remembers all this, but I'll just review this quick. I just take the closing grain corn price in Archer Elevator every Friday during this 10 or 11 week feeding program, and I averaged them up in 2020. The average price of corn during that 10-week period was $3. Last year it was $6.70 a bushel. This year for 11 weeks it was $7.73. So what a difference year to year. This is the yearling meat goat breeding doe class. Mackenzie Meyer, Bryce Dodge, Damian Dodge, Aubrey Dodge, and Michaela Meyer.
always gets a little more interesting to get into these yearlings, get a little more age to them. This doe that wins the class, when I checked him out and moved him here this last time, she won him pretty quick. She just gets out and she walks her head up and just strides, and she's got enough of the right pieces that if she can get out and walk around the shorting like that, she deserves to be first. Going second, until I got him and walked him that last time, she was fighting a little bit, also another doe that has got enough of the right pieces. She's thick enough. She's got good feet, legs under her. Just not quite the showing presence as that first place doe. The third place doe, also good productive doe, pretty good size for her age, in decent condition. She just kind of gets out horse today in the top two. And then to get down here in the bottom, these goats just need a little more condition on them. Looks like maybe they had kids, maybe they all did. I guess I didn't ask, but these two definitely did. And looked like they maybe struggled a little bit to get back in vacation condition. I'm sure if they had a little more weight on them, they probably would look a lot different.
Champion yearling breeding doe goes to Michaela Meyer. Second goes to Mackenzie Meyer. Now we'll have the mature meat goat breeding does. This class 2 entries from Bryce Dodge and 1 from Damian Dodge. At the conclusion of this class, we'll have the overall breeding doe drive.
Entering the ring is our last class of without championships. These are mature meat goat breeding does. Some of these does are 4.5 years old. They've had a lot of production over their lifetime. The first one is about 1.5 years old, and the last two, like I said, are 4.5 years old.
This breed doe class, we definitely got 3 different types out here. I'm going to go ahead and use the one that's probably the more moderate inner type. Probably the one that we can breed and do different things with. Probably the most likely to go ahead and raise a show goat if that's what you want to do, or raise a productive meat goat if you decide to go that direction. The second place goat, she's really deep body, really broody. I didn't know doubt this doe's going to lay down and have kids and feed them. She's just, to me, I just like to clean her up. She just gets a little wasty. She's just a little soggy in the middle 1/3. And then the goats round out the class again, another one that just had a little trouble coming back from kidding. Needs a little more condition on it.
Champion mature breeding doe goes to Damian Dodge, reserved to Bryce Dodge. Now we'll have our champion breeding doe from our first class of doe kids. Mackenzie Meyer, and reserve Aubrey
Now we're ready for the champion
Second class of
meat goat breeding. We have 4 classes.
reserve was Michaela Meyer.
The older
Yearling meat goat breeding goes, champion Michaela Meyer. Second, Mackenzie Meyer. And your mature champion was Damien Dodge, and reserve to Bryce Dodge.
the older does, and then the younger does, the yearlings, and the matures. You see that one jumping up in the air?
Okay, looking at this first place lineup, I'm pretty happy with the group of boys that I put together here. I think they're real uniform. I think any one of these does can go home and lay down and have kids and race potentially some competitive bred rate. I think there's one that maybe stands out of the rest. When we get down to reserve, it gets a lot closer. I'm going to go ahead and use this spring goat for champion. She just, to me, she's got a lot of bone. She's got a lot of muscle. But yet she's feminine enough that I think she's going to work out as a doe. You pick a breed stock, you got to be a little careful. You can't let's go for the cool one. You got to think ahead to what they're going to be like a year down the road. And I think that one's got a lot of potential to it. When we get into reserve, it gets, like I say, it gets a lot closer. But I'm going to go ahead and use the December doe for reserve. I really appreciate this doe just for her size, in her class. It is a really growthy doe. I think, she's got a lot of life in her. I think that's probably actually going to be the most productive doe. If we could just make her a little prettier up on the profile, throw a little more bone underneath her, and just clean her up on the front one third, she'd be right in there for champion.
Champion breeding doe goes to Michaela Meyer out of Class 2. And reserve champion breeding doe goes to Mackenzie Meyer out of Class 1. Take a brief break, and then we'll bring in the dairy goats. Dairy goat breeding does in the main break, Class 1. You're on deck after break.
The O'Brien County Farm Bureau, and we support farm families. We're committed to making O'Brien County, Iowa, a better place to live and keeping farm families on the farm. This past spring, the Iowa Farm Bureau awarded 27 graduating high school students from Iowa a $2,500 scholarship, renewable for 4 years. The O'Brien County Farm Bureau awarded 2 $500 scholarships. We want to support the future generations as they prepare to enter the workforce. The O'Brien County Farm Bureau, a proud sponsor of the O'Brien County Fair.
We're back. We have a addition issue. We haven't had a dairy goat show for years. But we have some entries this year in 2 different breeds. And these are what are called Nigerian dwarf. goats. You can see they're not very big animals.
Okay, we've got a single entry here, the Nigerian dwarf goat. And there was a word for the cutest. The Nigerians would probably win. I'm sure my new wife would be ecstatic if I bring one home to her. Unfortunately, today's not going to be her day, I'm afraid. But we got a nice little goat here. I'm going to give it a blue ribbon. Really nothing wrong with it. Looks to me like kind of what good representation of the breed, and just thanks for bringing her on.
So this goat was born on the 17th of February, so it's a little over 5 months old.
In this class, we'll have one entry from Samantha Manbury.
Next in will be a yearling dairy goat of the same breed. This is from the Samantha Vanderbrake of Sheldon family. And this particular goat that's coming in now is about 14 months old.
Get another nice little Nigerian here. Again, unfortunately, a single entry. And I'm going to go ahead and give her a blue ribbon.
In yearling dairy goat breeding doe, Samantha Vanderbrake. Now we'll have mature dairy goat breeding doe of the Nigerian dwarf breed with one entry from Samantha Vanderbrake.
Okay, the enter the ring now is Samantha's mature dairy goat. So this goat is 4.5 years old. So I guess you could assume that's about as big as they ever get to be. And it's we read in our Iowa magazine every month the story about the Amish lady that writes a diary every week
Kind of a
or
nice
1 week out of the 2
little,
months
age doe here.
of the other, and they milk quite a few dairy goats. But
Pretty good frontage and a lot of dairy qualities to her. She's got a nice udder on her. I don't know a whole lot about Nigerian dwarf goats, but I would say this is a pretty good one here. You see the mature goats and see what they're going to turn out like. There's just a lot of things I like about this, so we're going to go ahead and give her blue ribbon.
Champion mature dairy goat breeding doe Nigerian dwarf with Smith Bainbridge. And now we'll have our mature dairy goat breeding doe, class of Nubians, with 2, one from Damien Dodge and one from Aubrey Dodge.
now the Dodgers are coming in. Damien with a mature. This is one about 6.5 years old. And Aubrey has a one that's about 3.5 years old. And these are Nubian goats. So there you see the different color, different size for sure. As you can see, the goats have 2 nipples, which sheep do too, and cows have 4. So it's just a
On this class of dairy does, I'm going to go ahead and use probably the bigger framed, deeper bodied, bigger udder doe to win the class. Not much difference in these two. Second place, just a little bit smaller frame, a little bit lighter in her overall design, just not quite as much dairy quality as what I see in that first place.
Champion mature dairy goat Nubian goes to Damien Dodge, reserved to Aubrey Dodge. Now we'll have our grain and reserve champion dairy goat drive. This class you'll have 3 entries from Samantha Vanderbeek.
So now we're going to pick a champion dairy goat out of the 4 classes.
And then Damien Dodge is champion Nubian. And Aubrey Dodge is reserve champion Nubian. Damien Rader of Farm Bureau Insurance is sponsoring awards for the Grain and Reserve Champion Dairy Goat. We thank you for some round of applause.
So there's the 4 class winners lined up. 2 different breeds. I wouldn't envy this judge trying to put it all together. Again, our trusty ringman is Doug Kumus. Mark Dodge is out with helping his kids, but they've been good all day getting the show run. With help from Olivia Gruters, our extension summer aide.
You also got neat seeing these dwarf goats. They're kind of neat. I guess I wouldn't mind having a few of those around. Looking at a little more. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that mature Nigerian for your champion. I just really like the looks of that goat. I think she's going to be pretty productive and just kind of the goat that you're looking for. Maybe for reserve is going a little give and take. I'm going to go ahead and use the other mature goat. You see what you get there. These younger kids, I guess they're a little immature for me to evaluate right now. I'm just going to go ahead and use the 2 matures for the champion reserve, the Nigerian for champion, and the other mature for reserve.
Your champion overall dairy goat went to Samantha Vanderbeek with a mature dairy goat Nigerian dwarf. And reserved to Damien Dodge with his Nubian Nigerian dwarf. Now we'll have goat showmanship, starting with seniors, then intermediates, then junior.
Okay, in showmanship we have 3 classes of 3 each. So that's pretty good to have 9 exhibitors in the goat show here at our county fair. The senior class is Mackenzie Meyer, Bryce Dodge, and Braden Meyer. Mackenzie and Braden are different families. Well, we hope you enjoyed this showing of the goat and sheep shows sponsored by the Bryan County Farm Bureau. If you have any questions, stop into the office or give them a call. We will continue this throughout the fair with all the other activities each day through Wednesday. From where I'm sitting, I'm looking down here to the corner of the show ring, and there's a sandbox of corn. About 4 kids right now just having a world of fun playing with the corn.
All right, once again, showmanship's kind of my favorite. Those who weren't paying attention to the sheep show, I'm just going to say it again. I guess I ask these kids questions not necessarily to get the right answer. I just want to see how they interact with me. This isn't a quiz bowl; it's a showmanship contest. But I did ask them, what breed of goat they were showing. Obviously, they're all Boer goats. And I asked if they knew what country that Boer goats came from. And Boer goats came from South Africa, the country of South Africa. Probably 25 years ago they started importing them. They just kind of exploded since then. As far as showmanship goes, same thing in any species we want calm, collected. We want to know where the judge is at. We want to pay attention to what our animals do. We want to make sure the feet and legs are set on the corners. And one young lady here does the excellent job. Obviously, the young lady's going to be your champion. Just a real good job. Always paying attention. Always smiling. But I always make sure that goat is set up, and even when they're fighting with her, she stays calm, keeps them moving, does what she needs to do. And then for second, we're going to go ahead and use the young man in the gray shirt on my right.
Champion senior showman goes to Mackenzie Meyer, reserved to Brayden Meyer, and third to Bryce Dodge. Next, we'll have an intermediate showmanship. In this cross, we should have Lily Lopez, Damien Dodge, and Michaela Meyer.
We have 4 entries in this class for intermediate showmanship. Olivia Lopez Varquay, Damien Dodge, Michaela Meyer, and Kristen Sandy. These kids are in grades 7, 8, and 9. We just completed that.
Farm Bureau Insurance is sponsoring Goat Showmanship Banners. We thank you again for your support of the Dairy Goat Show here in Rankin.
Here comes our king, Jason Whitrock, and our princess. He must got done with the other show. This is Sydney Zutenhorst. So they get to be in a little bit of the goat and sheep show.
We have 4 excellent showmen out here for the intermediates. I'm going to go ahead and use the tall young lady, second from my left. She just always has that goat presented well. The head is always up. The goat is just broke to a T. Every one of them she's brought out here just walks free, walks the way they're supposed to. She sets their legs right away. Go ahead. That head is always up, and just I can't hardly follow her. And then for second, we're going to go ahead and use the young lady on the left-hand side. She just doesn't quite get as quick as far as getting them set up. Also, a very good showman. And then for third, I'm going to go ahead and use the young man. He also does a good job of it, just not quite as quick, doesn't quite keep the head up quite as much. He did answer between the two that are left, he answered my question correctly. I asked him what the good market rate is for the goat. And he said 50 to 100, which is a pretty broad range, but I was kind of looking for that 60 to 90 or 60 to 80. But the young he didn't really know. So I guess I went ahead and used my question to split that pair. So.
Your champion intermediate goat showman goes to Michaela Liner, reserved to Kirsten Sandy, and third to Damian Dodge. Now we'll have our junior showman with 3 entries: Aubrey Dodge, Emily Lopez, Samantha Manfred. And Tyler Steele.
There's 4 entries in this class of junior showmanship: Samantha Vanderbrake, Emily Lopez Varquay, Aubrey Lodge, and Tyler Stammer.
I'm going to go ahead and use the young man to win the showmanship, junior showmanship. Just a real attentive, just all-around good showman, always paying attention, always make sure that goat is set up, moves very smoothly, just does a lot of the right things. For a second, I'm going to go ahead and use the young lady with the Nigerian. There again, she just looks smooth and pays attention to what's going on. She didn't have much competition in class, but she came out here, she knew where she had to go, even though she only had individual entries in her class. I appreciate that, because she was paying attention, obviously, to what was going on around her. And for third, I'm going to go ahead and use the young lady on my left towards the announcer stand with the bigger goat. Again, just does a little better job of keeping her set up and moving. And the young lady, it's like you can goats maybe just fight a little bit, but you'll get there.
Champion junior goat showman goes to Tyler Stammer, second to Samantha Vanderbrake, and third to Aubrey Dodge. And that concludes your 2022 goat show. Stay tuned because the dairy show is coming right up. That means dairy exhibitors, get your dairy cattle ready.
It's been an experience.